not worship, but it's a place of comfort. It's a therapeutic place. It's a place where I can go in and I can be creative, and I can either have people in there with me or not with me. I can have music or not have music. You kind of control the environment. It's a resting kind of a place. It's productive. It's almost meditative, depending on what your subject matter is. If you're just doing maybe some commercial work and you're cranking out a bunch of prints, it's probably not as meditative as it is if you're doing your own personal work. But the process itself, just kind of being in a subdued lighting area, and there's a rhythm to it with the processing component of developing black and white prints and film. It's kind of like riding a bike. Once you know it, it's kind of part of your system. It's part of your DNA almost, and it's comforting. It's a place that I still enjoy.
I loved working in the darkroom. When I was in high school, I took a traditional photography class, and I think it's a nice space where it's quiet and it's focused, but it also is something that fewer and fewer people are familiar with. So.
Over the course of many years, I've taught in different school districts where, oh yeah, that's where the darkroom used to be, or yeah, I think that closet used to be where the science teacher had an enlarger in there. So, I think it's unfortunate, especially I think if you don't have a traditional background in using film and doing film development and print development. There's really no reason for you to do that now, and so it's kind of a sad thing, I think, to see the darkroom being relegated to that kind of a role in a building when it's the potential for learning and growth and artistic expression is very deep in there.
I think if they have a darkroom, that it should maintain being used. It's a tricky one because in our current climate or society, digital photography and digital media is a lot more prevalent. So, if you have the money and you can put it into one or the other, it's kind of that's where it gets a little bit tricky. But I think if you have it, definitely try and continue using it.
I think the more students understand about lenses, apertures, shutters, composition, focusing, optics, how lenses function, whether they're a wide angle, a telephoto, a normal depth of field kind of a lens. The more a student can learn and understand that, which I think happens more readily in a darkroom setting, I think it's a great benefit to students. I think it helps them as photographers. I think it helps them as filmmakers to understand. You may have a vision and you may have a story to tell as a videographer or filmmaker, but if you don't understand what your equipment can or cannot do for you, you're going to have a real hard time translating that to the screen or onto print or whatever your medium's going to be. Maybe it's going to be all web-based. But if you can't translate that and you can't manipulate and use your tools effectively, then you're going to be struggling to get your story told and get your vision out there.
There's a lot of terminology, like even aperture, that you don't see on a digital camera, really. I mean, some of them have a little, animation graphic thing that will change as you adjust it, but it's something that you don't fully appreciate unless you've had traditional photography, and you can see all those changes happen in the film and with the camera physically.
I think it's going to be really hard for a person to come into a school setting that does not currently have a darkroom and have a darkroom put into place and have a traditional black and white photography component or traditional film component put into place, just because it's going to be really hard, given the switch or the transition from digital to, or from film to digital that's happened just very recently and continues to be pretty dramatic. It's going to be hard for schools in school districts with traditionally tight budgets to justify putting money into a darkroom setup. The upside of that is if there was a person, a teacher, or an art person, photographer in your school system that wanted to set up darkrooms, there's just lots of equipment available out there that you can get almost for nothing. Many people will donate it. I've had a lot of darkroom equipment donated to school settings over the years because people have switched to digital, especially those people that were really, really serious about traditional film photography, and they're more than happy to have that tradition carried on. There's kind of a brotherhood / sisterhood of photographers who really cherish the old traditional methods and want to keep that alive and well, and I'm one of those people. But I think in a new setting it's going to be really hard, but there's still film and paper and chemicals available out there in the world, so I'd say people should go for that.